Queen Street has long been the home for Toronto's fashion forward, and if you're one of the local hype beasts, then ODTO is the crown jewel of the strip, home to some of the rarest kicks and collectibles, and we're about to go and get our own tour right now. We are now officially inside the doors of Overdose Toronto with manager Hugo. Hugo, first and foremost, you look around this store and it's an eye-popping experience. Tell me, what went into the creative of making this store, because it stands out from all of its peers?
Definitely, yeah. So we are OD Toronto. We are on Queen Street, heart of Toronto, and we've had this location since 2019. It took years and years of prep and just building it from the ground up. And thankfully, we were able to open on 2019.
So speaking of 2019, you guys got a lot of pub for the Kawhi mural. What was the idea behind that, and why is it so important for you guys to keep the storefront so fresh?
Yeah, with the murals at the front, we've been doing it since the playoffs, and obviously we gained a lot of traction with social media, and we blew up. A lot of people came, celebrities, athletes, and now we have a mural with artwork from our owner, Tetra. He's an artist as well, and right now it's just hieroglyphics with his signature touch.
All right, so this is the one section, I imagine, that got me through the store here.
Definitely. So Jordan 1s are a big thing with our industry right now, and a lot of people are looking for them, from the highs, mid to the lows. We also have dunks as well, definitely a big thing with a lot of younger kids now. And right behind you, we actually have one of our biggest Off-White and Nike collections with Virgil Abloh. Rest in peace. He's definitely did a pivotal thing with Nike. He released his entire line. And down here, we have more Off-White dunks, more Kobe's right there, as we talked about before. In my personal opinion, definitely one of the best performing basketball shoes out there.
Speaking of specific pairs, what is the grail right now in the store?
We have a lot of grails. We have a lot of shoes that I'd say a lot of stores in Toronto or even Canada and the world doesn't even have.
You had the Lost and Founds?
Yes. I'm actually wearing them right now.
Okay.
Came out in December of 2022. Definitely a historic shoe with Air Jordan and Nike, which was one of the first colorways of Michael Jordan's first silhouette.
So how do you guys get access to these shoes? Because most people can't get their hands on them.
But honestly, it's about making connections with the sneakerhead community. We've been in this business for almost a decade now, and it's something that we are proud and strive to look forward to, and we definitely want to give access to our community with sneakers and having them who can't get them, for retail. We try to give them the best price and just, let them have shoes available for them.
All right, so talk to me about the flooring, because this is not tile.
Of course, yeah. So we definitely have a unique floor plan right here. I'd say we're decked out here, So we have a lot of Supreme skateboards and decks that originated all the way from 1994. We've been collecting for a long time now, and Supreme is definitely something we love to carry.
Is there any special celebrity guests to come through shopping here at OD?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'd say our biggest ones are Quavo, we have Nav, a lot of Raptors players, and when visiting teams come by to play the Raptors or the Leafs, they always like to stop by, stop some shoes, some sneakers, that kind of thing.
All right, so since you guys are tastemakers, I want to ask, what NBA player has the best taste in sneakers? Who has the dopest collection?
Ooh, yeah, it's definitely something to consider, because I'd say a decade ago, no one really cared what NBA players wore. Nowadays, with social media, it's something that almost any athlete kind of prioritizes. But I'd say, PJ Tucker, bar none, he has probably one of the best sneaker collections in the NBA currently. There's probably no shoes in here that he hasn't worn on court right now. He has worn shoes from these ones even, all the way to the Octobers. So that's something that he's pulling out a new shoe, almost every quarter even. An honorable mention would be probably DeMar DeRozan. Big Raptors legend, probably one of the biggest Kobe collections I've ever seen.
All right, so if you're looking to get your footwear holy grail, of course, Overdose Toronto at 273 Queen Street is the place to be. Check my guy Hugo. We out. Peace.
Gentlemen, Welcome back to the Forum Barber Parlor. Best barbershop in the universe, 5519 Yonge Street, Toronto City of Champions. I wanted to talk All-Star, but jumping Jehoshaphat. Kyrie Irving traded to the Dallas Mavericks. I don't gotta say anymore, man. Talk to me.
I think, the trade is one thing, but when he demanded to be traded, first I'm thinking, for Brooklyn, for KD, it's like, how much do you guys go through? How much are you guys putting up with? But I'm interested to see how that's going to work, right? Kyrie and Luka, my concern is on the defensive end. Like, doors are just going to be blown off. These guys, because they're not committed on that end of the floor, right?
And I appreciate your basketball acumen because you went straight to defense, which is great. There's so much more to unpack. Let's stay here.
So for me, I'm happy for him. Kyrie is one of those guys to me like Terrell Owens, where he's talented, he's gifted, he's misunderstood. And I respect how he handled the situation because he went to Joe and said, dude, I am not going to sign here. You disrespected me. And I don't agree with 80% of his antics, but I gotta tell you, I would retire before I would come back and play in New Jersey if I were him.
Who wins the trade?
First of all, Brooklyn has to decide what direction they're gonna go now first, right? Are they blowing that up, right? Are they gonna move KD or what's gonna happen there? And then I think we have a better idea. But in the short term, if Dallas has enough time for Luka and Kyrie to build some chemistry.
In 3 months.
3 months, right?
Very short term, 90 days.
Very, very, very short stretch there. They can find some way to build some chemistry. I think they win it in the short term.
I personally think, I think New Jersey wins the trade. And the reason why New Jersey wins the trade is that they got something. They got a bag full of seconds, they got a first, and they got some serviceable players.
I really like the fact that you referred to Brooklyn as New Jersey, as there is only one team in New York. I like that.
Yes, well, they're always the New Jersey guys. They play like they're in Jersey, and even, like, they're just, anyway.
The Swan. Let's go online now. A lot to unpack online now. So we're hearing a lot of things. So LeBron tweets, I believe, maybe it's me.
Maybe it's me.
It is him. Period. Full stop. It is him.
Yeah.
He is not good enough to be that guy anymore. And you can tell by the way the younger players act around him. They can smell the blood in the water. The problem is LeBron has always been this guy, but he would be able to cover up his mistakes from the GM side of the player's office that he keeps. Yeah. But he is no longer able to cover up for his poor decision.
How do you guys feel about Kevin Durant? Because now you're seeing Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons on the bench.
Yeah.
It looks odd.
It does. And I'll say this, I think with KD, you gotta feel for him at some capacity because KD just wants to play basketball. He just wants to hoop. That's all he's concerned about. And you always, now, the team's playing well, probably one of the hottest teams in the NBA. They had to turn around when Jacques Vaughn took over. You're starting to trend in the right direction. You put yourself in a position to be a championship contender. And then now this wrench is thrown in there. So from KD's standpoint, yeah, I think he was caught by surprise, and I think he's said that as well. Again.
Yeah.
But it just comes at a tough time now, given the fact that they were actually moving in the direction. Now you're in some championship contention talks.
To All-Star now. Who's the biggest All-Star snub for you?
James Harden, without a doubt, because you got a Philly team that's top 3 in the East, and with James, you're looking at a guy that's around 21 points, 11 assists, which would be tops in the league, and a team that's winning, right? And I think over that stretch where the bulk of the votes are going on, they were the hottest team. They were like 8-1 or 9-1 during that stretch. So I thought he was probably the most deserving that didn't get the call.
The league is deep, so there's not really a lot of snubs. Like, no one is really standing out like in the past where, the Bird, the Magic, and then it's like, I can't believe you didn't take Tim Duncan, or I can't, you know what I mean? It's like we're really this is not the James Harden. Right. This is James Harden, right? So, so from that standpoint, he's one of those guys that your agent will say, hey, you better be good all the time. Because when you drop off, people remember.
So they got a new format this year, right?
Yeah.
So they're actually doing the draft right before the game. Yeah. So it's gonna be like high school. You pick up a penny, you put it on, and you start running, right? Who's getting picked last?
It's gonna be one of two players, right? And we gotta circle back to this after. See, it's gotta be Larry Markkinen or Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
I'm going with the Marketing or John Randall. There is no way.
Julius Randle.
John, Julius, James.
New Jersey.
Whatever. Like he is what he is, and I just don't think he's. I don't think he's a superstar, in my opinion. But I don't think his numbers bear out even as good as Pascal Siakam. I think Siakam's had a better year.
So that was gonna be my snub. I was gonna say I think Pascal should have got the nod over Julius Randle. I was surprised that he actually got voted in. Pick last, honestly, I think it's gonna be Kyrie. And again, it's a business like you say, and it's gonna add. It's more meat on the bone for everybody. It's gonna be funny.
It is.
Kyrie's are waiting at the end until the very end there. LeBron's probably like, oh, okay, Kyrie, come on. Yeah.
It's the All-Star, so it's entertainment, right? So LeBron's gonna have some fun with this. He's done it in the past.
Yeah.
I could see Kyrie not playing under those circumstances if he believes.
If he picked last, he's gone.
I could see him be like, whatever, or just sit down and bench. Nah, you go in. I could see him do that. He is head and shoulders better than most of the guys there. And so for him to be picked last, I don't know if that would go over well.
Guys, thanks for coming through. Enjoy your All-Star weekend. Get your popcorn. Hopefully, it's tension less.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. Enjoy the game. So guys, I got a question for you. The New Jersey Nets,
Brooklyn,
trying to assemble this super team. James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, didn't work. Repeat, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons. Is this the most overrated super team the NBA has ever seen?
Yeah, I don't even know if you can consider them a super team because you divided before you ever had a chance to do anything, right? Like, the thing with that is you can't just put talent together. You can't just put skill in these elite level players. They've got to be able to complement each other. And they've got to be able to understand each other off of that court as well. And I think that's where, this team's this is where the demise one has probably did themselves in. And for me, with super teams, you also have to have a pretty good point guard because that point guard has to understand everything in and out about his teammates, right? And if you don't have a selfless point guard, it doesn't matter what the team is. And I think we've seen these guys shoot themselves in the foot here. Yeah.
I think it is, if not number one, top 5 most overrated. Another one that comes to my mind is the Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant,
Dwight Howard,
Karl Malone, Gary Payton, and they on paper it was a whole bunch of assets, but if you actually analyzed it, Nash was aging, Malone was aging, Payton, he wasn't really the glove anymore. He was more of like a mitt.
The mitt.
Yeah.
Everybody said the same thing, the mitt.
Yeah. So, that was a pretty big disaster, and you could see, Kobe Bryant just wanting to rip his hair out like every single game, and calling out Nash as dogging it and all of that stuff, that tension. But it comes down to character, because the modern superstar is not like the yesteryear superstar. At least that Lakers team tried.
from the Oklahoma City Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
And that is another one that comes as a surprise.
No one?
No one. First time he's an All-Star in his 5th season. Congratulations, Shai.
He is flat out balling.
Time to take in the Canadian contingent that will head west to Utah for this year's NBA All-Star Weekend. Taking top honors is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, whose journey from being the 11th overall pick in 2018 to a rising star and now NBA All-Star is no surprise if you've been watching him knock down game winners for an inexperienced Thunder squad this year. The historical context of Gilgeous-Alexander's selection can't get lost in this either. The Hamilton, Ontario native joined Steve Nash, Jamal Magloire, and Andrew Wiggins to become the 4th Canadian to earn a selection to an All-Star game. But Shai's selection at just 24 makes him the youngest Canadian All-Star ever. Gilgeous-Alexander's breakout to All-Star level must be credited to his arrival as an elite-level scorer. Only 2 players in the Thunder uniform have ever put up more on a nightly basis. You may have heard of them. Kevin Durant, who averaged 32 points a game in 2013-14, and Russell Westbrook, who averaged 31 points per game in 16-17. By the way, those seasons ended up with Durant and Westbrook hoisting MVP hardware. Just putting it out there. The other Canadians present in Jazz Country will be Benjamin Mathurin, who is currently in the mix for this year's Rookie of the Year award, putting up averages of 18 points per game, 4 rebounds, and just under 2 assists, and who just last week passed Pacers great Reggie Miller for the most points off the bench by an Indiana rookie. Joining him on the flight over from Indiana will be his Pacer running mate Andrew Nembhard, who has also carved out a rotational role for himself off the Pacers bench, putting up 8.5 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. The pair are 2 of 11 rookies named to the Rising Teams, a showcase of the league's top young players. Rising Stars will feature a 3-game mini-tournament among 4 teams comprised of NBA rookies, sophomores, and NBA G League players. Speaking of the G League, cue the final Canadian 18-year-old Scarborough native Leonard Miller, a 6'10", 211-pound wing who was the 2022 BioSteel Canadian Player of the Year and earned Ontario Scholastic Basketball Association Most Valuable Player honors, averaging 31 points and 11 rebounds for Fort Erie International Academy, and is currently putting up 15 points per game for the G League's feature franchise, the Ignite, and is expected to be a first-round selection in this year's draft.
I'm African. I was born in Nigeria, so just anything to celebrate Black people, celebrate excellence, means a lot to me.
It's representation of our history, the beauty of the struggle, of the bad in it, the good in it, everything that came with it, the makeup of who we are. Basically, it's our history. It's my history. It's part of our history. You know, it means everything to me. It's the base and the foundation of everything I am and who we are.
It means a lot, but also for me, I understand that celebrating Black excellence is not just about 1 month, and I feel like, you know, we just gotta continue to be there for each other, love each other, support each other, and I think that at the end of the day, like, as long as we do that, we'll be all right.
Fans voted Trae Young 5th. Media voted him 6th. Players voted him 12th. Why doesn't this guy get love, man? Do you like Trae Young?
No. For me, Trae Young right now is that guy. He's that guy who's seen as selfish, but not selfish in like a I want the ball way, but like team selfish. I want to ruin my coach's life selfish type of guy. And when that gets around the league, like, you know, he's trying to hurt a good person, a former player, one of us. He's not one of us. When those rumors start to spread, it becomes like a cancer. But All-Star is not about anything other than your play. And that's where I really don't think the players should have a vote because nobody likes him.
Yeah.
Trae's the villain, right? And if you, as the villain, are not winning out, then yeah, guys don't like you. And more importantly, if your teammates aren't even voting for you, and think about this, your teammates aren't voting for you and you're the point guard on your team, right? You're supposed to be taking care of your guys as the lead guard. So that says something in itself. As a villain, you gotta win. If you're not doing that at a high level, high clip, there's no reason to.
Hi, and welcome to The Drop, the lifestyle sneaker show that gets you caught up on all the good stuff out now and coming soon. I'm your host, Joe, aka Joe is the New Black. Time for some fun. Let's go. Stussy and Nike have their first offering of the year with these Stussy Nike Air Penny 2s. The shoes feature a unique premium hemp, canvas, and synthetic suede upper, a ripple pattern midsole, blue Stussy branding on the lateral side, and of course that big transparent Air Max unit on the heel. Look for these to drop on the 10th on Stussy's site and on the 14th on the Sneakers app. Jordan Brand is set to drop this craft edition of the Air Jordan 4. The classic Tinker Hatfield design gets some luxe upgrades, including grid embossed leather, replacing the usual plastic webbing. We also get an upper featuring soft suede and extra stitch lines, along with a soft brushed lining. The shoe's color palette consists of pale blues and creamy hues, and a color Nike is calling Photon Dust. Valentine's Day means Valentine colorways. Check out the Nike Dunk Low in this Nike maroon soft pink makeup. The shoe features an off-white and maroon colored upper made of real and synthetic leather, soft pink highlights and swoosh, and maroon colored rubber outsole. Chocolates and flowers not included. Jordan Brand is set to drop the classic Air Jordan 1 in this ultra-wearable, clean black and white colorway. This version of the classic has an 85 cut, which means a higher collar, wider toe box, and premium hang tag. And of course, Nike Air cushioning. 38 years later, and this shoe is still fire. UK label Maharishi teamed up with Reebok and are set to drop these Maharishi Reebok Tiger Zig Kinetica 2.5s. The shoe features an upper with black patent and suede detailing, an overall tiger stripe camo pattern, a Vibram enhanced outsole, and Reebok's Float Ride Fuel Energy midsole for comfort and cushioning. And finally, Jeff Staple and Puma are set to drop these Jeff Staple CFL Puma Suedes. The suede first debuted for Puma way back in 1968, and this edition of the shoe features an all suede upper, a purple tongue, and split color blocking with one blue side and one mustard side. We create from Chaos branding and Staple pigeon logos on the heel. And did I mention 5 lace color options? And that's it for this week's episode. So many kicks, so little time. We'll see you next time with more good stuff on The Drop. Thanks for watching.
That comes from having a group of guys that know the system and have played together a little bit.
Thanks for making me feel old.
That's that fake stuff you're putting in your veins.
Right in the middle of the floor where now the guy can boop, boop.
I saw you taking pictures, hugging babies and stuff.
Well, that's how he rolled.
There's competition out there.
You are so done. Yeah, man, just say no. Before the story ends, just say no.